Okay.
Um, okay, so your question was, all right, how do I get some like higher end clients like right away within 2, 3 weeks? And
Yeah, some buyers and sellers.
buyers and sellers. Okay, so there's in the Dropbox. Did you get that Dropbox link
Yes.
we sent you?
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's a tab in there. It says listing getting letters,
Okay.
and there's four of them in there.
Okay.
And I would copy pretty close to verbatim those letters
Okay.
and send those letters out every other day to the same addresses. So you're going to send out four letters over like an 8-day period. And who to send them to? I would send them to an area of town that's not the highest end, right? But
Okay.
it's kind of in that if I was going to take the market and cut it in half, it'd be the upper half, and it'd
Okay.
probably be the not the top 25 most expensive, but in that third quadrant of most expensive.
Okay. Okay.
And you might have to tweak the letters a little bit because the letters probably, they have my numbers on it. So they're
Sure.
like, hey,
Sure.
sold whatever it is, 1,300 homes and this amount of real estate. The public doesn't really care. You could have sold 3 homes and they're fine with it.
Sure.
Um, what's really important on those letters is it goes over, hey, here's my 3 promises. Here's the 3 things I'm going to be doing with you and for you. My marketing is just going to be really different. And in
Hmm.
fact, I don't think I've sent it to you, Jesse. I'll overnight it to you tonight, but I'll send
Okay.
you a couple of my brochures, so you can have them, so you can show people, right?
Okay. Great.
Um, and what it is, it's a 12-page brochure. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So like if you go and meet with someone, you can say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you.
Great.
And I tell people it's really about 2 things. So it's like I'm going to over market your house. And what I mean by that is there's only 2 kinds of media out there. You got print media and you got online media. And print media, this is what I do for you. It's a 12-page brochure. It's going to totally crush it. Online media, yeah, we're going to use these same high-end photos, and we're going to be putting it on the websites that the consumers go to, which is Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. And we're gonna feature your home. It's gonna pop up higher on the list. I'm gonna send you stats every week on that. Do you know how to do that?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, if not, reach out to me and I'll help you with it.
Okay.
I might have to review it myself.
Sure.
This is kind of set up for me automatically, but yeah. So then what happens? It's really cool because then every week, it sends a report out to my clients, and usually I print one of those out and I bring it to a listing appointment to just be like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Typically, 1,200 people a week are going to be looking at your home online on this site, 900 on this site, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would also. How comfortable are you calling your top 150?
Um, Really comfortable, but I maybe not too comfortable because I haven't done it. So.
Okay, gotcha. I mean that's just gold, right?
Okay.
And there's people. What have you ever come across a friend or acquaintance and they're like, oh yeah, we just bought a house, and
Yeah,
you're like,
it happens all the time. I get a few of those that work with me, and I get a number of them that I haven't run into in a while that say that.
okay, cool. So um, what I would do is I would stop that, right? And so to stop that would be I'm going to grab it here. Uh, make top 150 calls, right?
Okay. Yep.
And have you printed this out yet? This guide to your success?
I have not printed it out. I've just used it. Looked through it online.
Okay. So I would print it out when you get a chance, and it's page Ooh, page 49 and 50.
Okay.
And we'll spend, oh my gosh, we'll spend probably half a day going over this at the 3-day
Okay.
event in June.
Okay.
And this is magical because when you do this, whoever, if you're not talking, if you could just mute yourself, that'd be awesome. Because we're definitely getting some feedback. But then, yeah, when you want to hop in and say something, definitely unmute and that kind of thing. I've seen a lot of like blue heads. Okay, so top 150 conversations. This is just where you're calling somebody, Jesse, and
Great.
can I do a quick role play with you?
Sure.
Okay. So, and I'm just going to follow it as verbatim as I can. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections to it. The first section is just, hey, you've been on my mind today. What's up with you? And I'm going to talk for 3 minutes on that.
Okay.
And after 3 minutes, I'm on to the next segment. And the next segment is 1 minute. And this next segment, it's 1 minute, is all about, hey, I want to be your real estate resource. So I
Okay.
never tell people, hey, use me when you want to buy and sell a home, because to me, that's just kind of cheesy.
Sure.
And so I tell them, hey, I want to be your real estate resource. And then the next 1 minute is I tell them something about, like, have you heard or are you aware? And what that might be is like, hey, have you heard that there's 3 promises I make to my clients? Hey, have you heard about my 3 performance guarantees I do for sellers? Hey, have you heard the San Diego market has gone up 7%? Whatever it is.
Sure.
Generally, on the have you heard, I want to tell a statistic about myself, or tell them a promise that I have. Does that make sense? Because I really don't care if you know what's going on in the housing market.
Sure.
I want them to know that they're like, man, I got a friend in the real estate business,
Yep.
And then the next 1 minute is all about, hey, I want to ask you for some help. And I only want you to help me if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, just say so. Fair enough?
Yep.
And then the last 1 minute is either thank you. Well, it's always thank you. It's either, hey, thanks for thinking of somebody if they didn't have a name, or they say, yeah, I got a name. And then I'll go into the next dialogue. So it's a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total of 7 minutes maximum.
Okay.
And when you do it, Jesse, it's probably going to feel like it's forever because you've never consistently done it, right?
Sure. Sure.
And so basically, I try and make 7 of these phone calls a day. So 7 calls a day times about 7 minutes is about 50 minutes. And then it's pretty much like, there's other stuff I do, but this is like the first thing on my list.
Okay.
And I have realtors that I coach, like Brad Olson, right? This is all he does. He gets in, he spends about 50 minutes calling, and then he's done for the day. He does other stuff, like rearranges his staple drawer and things like that, because he just has a hard time going home. But in reality, that's all he does.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll role play with you. So hey, Jesse, you've been on my mind today. Is this a good time for you?
Yeah, sure. I got a few minutes.
Cool. Yeah, I got about 7 minutes before my next appointment, and my next appointment might be another phone call I got to make or whatever it is. Hey, so what's new in your world? Tell me what's going on with your family.
Daughter's going to college next year. Kids will be out of school in a couple weeks, and just planning the summer out. Getting a little crazy with that.
Nice. What college?
Fort Collins University of Colorado.
Yahoo! That sounds cool.
Yeah, I think she's very excited. So.
Nice. How'd she choose that college?
She applied to 9 schools. She got into all 9 of them, and she that ended up being the furthest one away. So.
That's awesome.
She's very independent. It was the best school too. So.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing there in my brain, I'm just saying, tell me more. Does
Sure.
that make sense?
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's just like you had mentioned, hey, your daughter's going to college, and your kids are doing summer plans. And I fixate on the first thing you said, right? And the first thing you said is daughter going to college. And then I just said, hey, so tell me about that. What college, right?
Yep.
And you kind of told me what college, and she applied to 9 schools, and that's the furthest one away. And oh, that's cool, awesome. And then I might say, so hey, so tell me about your other kids. What are they doing this summer?
Sure. One's going to ski camp in New Hampshire for a couple weeks. The other one's going to summer camp up at Lake George for a couple weeks. So,
Wow,
lot of camps and probably the beach and stuff too. So.
cool. And again, I want to be as inquisitive as possible, right? And so
Sure.
I'll be like ski camp. That's awesome. How in the world do you ski in the summertime?
Yeah, they set up like these ball pits and like big air-filled mats that you jump and you flip into, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
And I might know how that works. Does that make sense?
sure, sure.
I've been to Utah in the summertime where they
Yep,
got Park City, and they got the kids who go off the ski jump and into this like swimming pool kind of thing.
sure.
Um, but I'm not bringing that up to you
Yeah,
because this conversation is all about you. Does that make sense?
yep,
And that's why I can make these calls every month to my 150 people that know me, like me, trust me. And when I call, they don't look at the caller ID and go, here's this guy calling me.
sure,
They go, hey, here's this guy who's going to ask me all about me. You know what I
sure.
mean? So ski camp, that's really awesome. And then tell me about Lake George. I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah, beautiful lake. It's like 27 miles long. My daughter's going for 2 weeks. She's rooming with her friends. She's going to be a sophomore next year. So yeah, she's loving it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Uh, Beautiful. And so that took up 3 minutes. So I won't even get
sure.
into like, hey, what are you doing job-wise? What are you
Yep,
guys doing recreation-wise? I might talk about like your dreams, not some like funky stuff, but just like in essence, you kind of told me your dreams. What your kids are doing 2 months from now.
sure, sure.
Um, and then I'll transition. And if you ask about me, and
Yep,
say, Jonathan, so what are your kids up to? I'm going to talk for 7 seconds about that, and
sure.
then I'm right back into you. So I might say, oh yeah, we got a daughter who's going to be a sophomore next year too. What a cool age. And then boom, I'm into the next 1 minute. And the next 1 minute is, hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, thanks for being my friend. Hey, I want to be your real estate resource, Jesse. And what I mean by that is I got the privilege of interacting with hundreds of people in a typical month, right? And I've come across some really cool people who run their business at a really high level, just like I do. And, I've run into some people who can fix a storm door really good, who are great attorneys, cut your dog's hair, whatever it is, let
Yep,
me know. And I'd love to introduce you to one of these people who just is really great, rather than just have you find them out of the blue.
sure.
Right? And so what can I be doing for you right now, Jesse? I mean, for you, your family, that who
Sure.
can I introduce to you that would really be a benefit to you guys?
It's funny. I was actually calling around for landscapers this week, and I couldn't really get anybody on the phone. If you know somebody, that'd be great.
Okay, awesome. And if I know somebody, I'd be like, yep, I know somebody. And so I'm really low tech, so I should probably put this all on my phone, but these are all my contact providers.
That's nice. That's lovely.
Yeah, that is so. So if I know somebody landscape, which I don't, I would probably say, you know what? Are you looking for like a professional architect, or just kind of some laborers to make it happen?
Yeah, somebody who can, design some, planting beds, like a path maybe, and who knows like what, plants and shrubs and stuff to use. Um, yeah,
Awesome.
somebody who knows their stuff.
Okay, cool. So then I would just be honest, and I don't know somebody.
Hmm.
So if I did, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you got to connect with, Fred.
Sure, sure,
And if I knew that person, I would get on this magical device that we're already on,
sure.
right? And I'd be like, hey, let's do a three-way call to Fred. Diddle-diddle-diddle. Hey, Fred, I got Jesse on the phone. Jesse's needing a landscape guru. Can you swing out and help him out this week?
Sure.
And basically, how cool is that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the same thing. I want to show people how to refer me. That's the whole reason I'm doing it.
Sure.
And so, like, I've had it where I have a client who is at a coffee house, overhears a lady 2 tables away talking about real estate, and my client goes, oh my gosh, you got to use this guy Jonathan. And she calls me up on her phone and says, hey, I'm sitting here next to, she's like, what's your name? I forget her name now, but
Sure.
and I got a great transaction from it, right?
Cool.
And
Sure.
but if I don't know somebody, Jesse, I'm gonna say, awesome. So hey, thanks for joining the call. If sometimes we get feedback, so if you can mute yourself, that'd be awesome. But if you have any questions, like jump in, unmute yourself anytime. Okay, so since I don't know somebody, Jesse, I'm going to say, Jesse, I don't know somebody, but let me do this. It's right now 9:21 my time. I'll find somebody for you by like 3 or 4 o'clock. What I'm going to do,
Great.
I'll call some other people that know somebody. And then, in essence, what I'm going to be doing is my next phone call to my top 150, I'm going to call and ask them, hey, do you know anybody who's an awesome landscape architect?
Great.
And if after my 6 calls I don't have anybody, I then go to Google and I type in,
Sure.
super duper landscaper, and up will come 5 people.
Sure.
Call the first one, second one, third one, and I can tell over the phone, hey, is this a person that gets it or doesn't get it? And then I say, hey, I got a referral for you. And I got a brand new business partner. So,
cool.
So then I say, cool. So landscaping, awesome. Gosh, all right, so is there anything else I can be doing for you, Jesse?
No, I mean, I think I'm good. I'll think about you in the future, when I need something. But that's all I'm really working on this week, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely. When anything comes in your brain of something that you need fixed or solved or whatever it is, let me know. Because again, I'm your resource. And I don't know if you're aware of it, Jesse, but there's 3 promises I make to my clients. 1 is I'm always on time. 2 is I'm brutally honest with them. And then 3 is I do what I say I'm going to do. And then there's 3 things that I do with them and for them. One of them is consult with them. Just make sure they make a great, wise decision for them. 2 is negotiate for them, so I treat their money like it's my money. And then 3rd, I just handle all the details. And yeah, I mean, basically, I love working with people and for people. And bottom line, I just get the job done. I don't let them down. And that took, 1 minute. And so now I'm on to my favorite 1 minute. And my favorite 1 minute is where I get to ask them for some help. And
hi, Ro. Is that Ro there? Would you mind muting your microphone? Okay, you got to hit your screen. You got to touch your screen and press it down, and then a microphone will come up, and you got to tap that so it has a line through it, because you're amplified on the whole call.
Oh, Ro dropped out.
Oh, sorry, Ro.
Okay. All right. So this is my favorite part, Jesse. It's the 4th part, and 1 minute, and I say, hey, so Jesse, I want to ask you for some help. And I only want you to help me, Jesse, if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, just say so. Fair enough?
Sure.
Cool. well, who do you know that's maybe thinking about buying or selling a home that could really benefit by working with a professional like me? Maybe it's somebody who needs to get a bigger home, smaller home, bigger yard, smaller yard. Maybe they're just thinking about buying or selling, or they're frustrated, anxious, worried.
Sure.
Who comes to your mind first, Jess?
I have a friend, Chris, that I play soccer with. I think that he was actually going to be looking for a place soon.
Yeah, and I guarantee you this, as just like George is going to be 27 miles long, I guarantee you when you make 7 phone calls a day using this dialogue, and what's cool is since you signed up for the event, you got it already. So now it's just a matter of reading pages.
I feel like I'm like
Sure.
on the driveway here.
When you call 7 people, you're going to get one really, really good introduction.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
Yeah. No, I definitely see that happening. There's a natural inclination too after you've offered to help refer somebody. I was about to say, your mind works, and I'm about to say, hey, who can I send your way?
100%. 100%. And it's just natural, and it's giving first,
Sure.
expecting second.
Sure.
And again, if I call 7 people today and nobody gives me an introduction, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's like, it is what it is. But I know that generally every 7 people I call, I'm going to get one really good introduction. And like for me, I'm a little busy right now, so I'm even wanting less introduction. So what I do, I say, hey, so Jesse, who do you know who's maybe thinking about selling a house and maybe in that 900,000 to 1.5 million range?
Okay.
And so people say, well, how do I go for the higher number? Just do that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know somebody, then I follow the dialogue at the end of page 50. If you do know somebody, like you mentioned, Chris, I go to page 51. And 51 is beautiful because most realtors would when you say, yeah, I got a friend, Chris, what do most realtors say next?
Can I have his number right now, or some would say, can you have him call me?
Yeah. Can I get his number? Can you have him call me? Yeah, and that's like 2 thumbs down. Remember Roger Ebert?
Yeah.
The movie critics? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's you're going to get some business that way. You're just not going to get all the business that way.
Sure.
And so what I do, follow page 51, and 7 steps for really converting this like person that wants to help you into an actual transaction. And so one is I ask for endorsement. So I say, hey, so Jesse, would you recommend Chris to myself?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And what are you going to tell Chris about me?
I don't know. What do you want me to tell him?
Oh, awesome. And so that's why it's so important in that 3rd section right here where it says, are you aware, have you heard?
Yep.
That I say stuff about me. Because remember I said, hey, I'm always on time, I'm honest, going to consult with you. So most people say that they're like a parrot. They're going to kind of say what I just said.
Okay.
So they'll say like, wow, you know what? I really like your 3 performance guarantees, and I think Chris will like those too. And then I'll say, well, cool. Can I ask you a couple questions about Chris?
Sure.
Yeah. And I say, now, how do you know Chris?
Yeah, we've been playing soccer together for like 4 years. Nice.
And what do you most admire about Chris?
He's just a genuinely nice guy, and he seems to do what he does, what he says, and he's a nice guy.
Nice, awesome. And how in the world did you think of Chris first?
Yeah, he just said something or was talking to one of the guys on the team about looking for a house or about to look last week.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, that's really cool. Hey, so what's Chris's best phone number?
I don't know. You know, let me look it up in my phone. I think I have that. I probably have his email too, so you can catch him either way.
Okay, cool. And then I'd get the phone number. And so if you've ever had it where you've asked somebody, hey, what's their phone number, and someone
Yep.
goes, let me talk to them first,
Yep.
or I'll get back to you with it, or
Sure.
I don't know if they're really that serious. When you start asking these questions,
Yep.
that will change. Because
Okay.
people will say, yeah, their phone number is this.
Okay.
And then I call up Chris. And the dialogue for Chris is, again, on page 51. It's at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
And the dialogue is, hey, Chris, I'm glad I got a hold of you. You and I both have the privilege of knowing Jesse. He said we need to talk. Do you got 3 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Well, hey, I was talking with Jesse, and I asked him who was the first person that he knew of that could really benefit by my services, and your name came instantly to him. In fact,
Nice.
what's really interesting, I was asking Jesse what he most admired about you, and do you know what he said?
No, what's that?
Yeah, and now I got all the ears are in. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Yep.
So just like if I was calling you up and I go, hey, so Jesse, I was just talking with Chris, and you know what he said he most admires about you?
No, what he said.
Yeah, exactly, right? And
Yep.
so man, he says you guys have been playing soccer for 4 years. That you're just
Yep.
really a nice guy. That you
That
just
was nice.
follow through, and
Yep.
and it's really cool. Those are awesome qualities, and I would love to see if I could help you out. You know, so now tell me,
Okay.
how long have you known Jesse? And then he'll go into it, and then he'll
Sure.
say, well, who are you? Okay, well, I'm a professional real estate consultant, and I specialize in helping people buy homes and sell homes.
Cool.
Is that something you're thinking of doing?
Yeah, I actually just started looking.
Awesome. We should meet. Do you have time today at 3 o'clock? Do you have time today at 6 o'clock? What'd be best for you?
Can you just send me some houses and I can look at them online?
I can. I'll definitely do that. What we should do, though, too, is we should either meet at the coffee house or the first house we meet at, because I really want to show you a little bit how I work and how I'm different. And then I
Okay.
really want to find out if I can even help you out, right? And I'm going to ask you 7 questions to really find out if I can be of service to you. And if I can, awesome. And if I can't, I'll let you know that, too.
That sounds fair.
Okay, cool. And then we meet. And
Cool.
and then when we meet, we go over basically a few things. We go over mutual permission to reject, which no realtor offers people. We go over your 4 options, which is like, hey, you don't have to use me if you don't want to.
Sure.
We go over my 3 promises, 3 things I'm going to do for you, the 3 performance guarantees, my purpose. I think I might have already mentioned that.
Yep.
And then go into asking these 7 questions. And then after they answer those and say, well, based on what you told me, Chris, my best advice is we go and then whatever it is, and then we go do whatever it is. And generally with a buyer lead, by the time I get it,
Yep.
and it could be a cold internet lead, to the
Yep.
time they write an offer on a house, it's anywhere between 3 to 10 days.
That's great. I mean, I'm losing some people. I get a decent number of leads. I lose some people between the, hey, just send me a list, into transition to getting them to either see a house or to, meet at the office or a coffee shop. As soon as it's, the tendency for the client is to just say, hey, send me the stuff so it's easier for me. And obviously, me as the broker, I'm trying to get them to meet with me to establish some sort of relationship and get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
So I like that you said you would do both, because a lot of times I'll say to people, well, I can send you a list, but sending you 150 properties that may or may not work for you isn't going to help you. And so really I want to narrow it down to 10 properties or less and be really specific, and and then try to go back to setting the appointment then. But I like the other things that you were saying there, because it gives the people probably some value.
100%. So what happens is sometimes as realtors we just like let's give them more information.
Yeah.
And I tell people if more information was what people needed, everybody with an internet connection would be worth a gazillion dollars.
Sure.
Right? Because there's and even as realtors, right? Sometimes we're like, man, I just need to read a different book, or I need a social media strategy, or I need a whatever, and it's like, nah, you probably need to quit doing 90% of what you're doing.
Sure.
Instead, do this other stuff, because it's not like none of us need more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let's be effective, and so. Right. At that 3-day event that you're coming to, Jesse, it's going to be like 3 solid days of like, okay, this is what to do. This is like, and none of it's theory. It's like this is stuff that I put into practice daily, and that's allowed me to go from 0 to 368 million in sales in a 14-year time period in 2 different markets, both of which like nobody knew me from Adam. Right? Sure. It's not like my parents are realtors, or it's not even like my parents they don't even live in the same state that I was a realtor in. So I mean, it's not like I was handed stuff. And yeah, oh my gosh. And for those of you who like have not signed up yet for the 3-day event, sign up. I mean, there's 0 risk, right? It's like $998. You can come to the event. There's 2 guarantees. One is at any time, if you're like not dazzled by it for whatever reason, you let me know. I refund you back 100% of what you paid. You keep all the materials, which I mean, Jesse's already got a ton of materials, right? So I send all these materials out to you the day you sign up. And then second guarantee is this. It's a 300-to-1 guarantee. And I don't know anybody else who even comes close to this. But during this 3 days, I'm going to show you how to easily add an additional $300,000 of income to wherever you're at. And if you do not see that you could make an additional $300,000 of income by implementing just a few of these strategies that we can go over, you just let me know, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid.
Wow.
We part as friends. Yeah, I mean, every realtor in America, if they want to, should be making $25,000 a month income.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, we live in America, which is like, holy cats. It's a land of opportunity. And you don't have to work 80, 90 hours a week to accomplish it. Just this one thing I went over with Jesse, the top 150 calls, that alone, I mean, do the math on it. So, like, for you, Jesse, what would be an average price point?
Right where I live, about 300 to 400, so say 350.
Okay, so we'll just say 300 for easy math.
Sure.
And what's a commission where you're at? Like a 3% to you?
Usually 2.5.
Okay, so 2.5, so $7,500.
Yep.
Okay, for easy math, we'll just say $8,000. So $8,000, and you're going to get 20 introductions a month just from calling your top 150 people that already know you, like you, trust you. If you're like me and you got dropped into Minnesota and nobody knows you from Adam, I can show you in about a 12-day period how to get 150 people where you can be calling them. Or like when I came to San Diego 7 years ago, in a 12-day period, how to get 150 people. Or if I got dropped in the Lake George area, I'd get 150 people in 12 days. But let's just assume you got 150 people, and you make 7 of these calls a day. That's 60 minutes, and you get 1 good introduction for every 7. So that's 20 good introductions in a month. Let's say starting out you don't even get that. You get 10 good introductions in a month. But let's say you don't even get that. You get 5 good introductions in a month. Out of those 5, you're going to get 2 transactions. That's $16,000 a month, which is what? 16 times 12 is I don't know, call it 180,000.
Yep.
I mean, that's 180,000 right then and there, and then you're going to get people calling off of your listings because you got a 12-page brochure. Nobody else prints a 12-page brochure. So out of those 24 transactions, let's say 12 of them are sellers. So you're going to pick up another 12 buyers, which is another 90,000. So basically, just by doing that little bit, you're at like 270,000 of income. And what does it cost, Jesse, like to call your friends?
Yeah, it's cost you an hour.
Nothing.
It costs an hour, and how much cash?
Doesn't
Nothing.
cost you a dime.
That's right.
It doesn't cost you a dime, right? And
Sure.
so there's all these realtors doing these cockamamie things out there. I'm like, man, but my expenses this year, something like 26,000, 27,000 in expenses, and I'm at like 406,000 of income. So someone was asking, where do I print the brochures up? We're at the 3-day event, we'll go over it. But I use a company called GotPrint.com. They're a big national company. They cost maybe like $2 to $3 a piece.
And are you mailing those out to anybody in the neighborhood, or just handing them out, or what are you doing with those?
If I wanted more business, Jesse, I could, right? So on those listing getting letters,
Yeah.
I could send out an example of my brochure.
Okay.
I don't, but I could.
How much do those roughly cost?
$3 a piece. It'll cost me
Okay.
$300. And these are the brochures. They go, in the for sale sign.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when I go
your
on.
day is stressful today, so don't worry. You're doing great. You're doing the best you can. So
Here's my listing point, right? And I pull out a couple of houses nearby. So I go like, here's one of your neighbor's houses, and on the back it talks about this guy and all
that's the
his
main thing. If you
awards
didn't
and
find him
that.
anywhere, then that
On the
would not
front,
be good. As long as he
back.
was here,
Or
just
if
a
you're
little
a buyer for a brochure like this.
Okay.
And
So,
every single seller I've ever interacted with is like, yeah, that's a better brochure.
Sure,
That's
sure.
great.
How many, so before when you were saying on the mailer, how many do you do? You said send out 4 letters every 2 days. How many are you sending at a time?
Well, it depends. If I'm like, gosh, I'd like to get some business, I'd send out 500.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
at a time.
If it's like, you know what, my budget doesn't allow 500, I want to send out just 100,
Mhm.
cool, send out 100.
Okay.
If somebody's like, gosh, my budget doesn't allow that, then send out
Mhm.
50. But send out something, right? Because what it does, it just gets you in the habit of doing it. And even if you send out 100 to homes around your area, Jesse, and it
Yep.
doesn't work, it doesn't produce anything, there's probably another 100 homes you could send it to.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this, for the realtors who do it, even the first time they do it, when you send out 250, you're going to get, you will get a listing. So
Okay.
I don't know how many points you'll get, but you will get a listing. So I could be dropped into my hometown of Arlington Heights, Illinois, which, I mean, nobody knows me there except, I don't know, some of my high school friends.
Sure.
And, I could send this letter out. I'd send it out to the higher end homes, which Arlington Heights is probably like 1.1 to 1.2 million, and I'd send out 250, and I would within 12 days list the house.
Okay.
Wow, got it.
Yeah, and those letters are in that Dropbox too, Jesse.
Okay, great. Can I ask you about one thing that I saw? You had mentioned about getting business from the mortgage companies that you're sending business to.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little further? I've sent I had 6 closings last month, and I think 4 of them went to one company, and I think I have another 4 going to the same company next month.
Mhm.
And I'd like to have a conversation with them about them paying either for a website or, doing something. But I would getting business out of them would be nice.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we'll probably spend half a day on that at the 3-day event as well.
Okay.
But yeah, in the meantime, for sure. And for those of you guys on the call too, if you haven't signed up for the 3-day event, there's got to be a button somewhere or some email that I sent you, or you can go to the website profitsandpassions.com and sign up for it. It's called profitsandpassions.com because one, I believe every realtor should be making $25,000 a month.
Sure.
If they want to, and two, the only reason I make money is because I want to like fulfill my passion, right? And I got 4 great kids. I want to spend as much time with them as possible.
Absolutely.
I want to give them a ton of different experiences, and you know, kind of like Jesse, right? Like sending his kids to the ski camp and the Lake George, and you know, the college of her choice. And to me, that's enjoyable. It's doing family stuff together, spending time with them,
Right.
not being like
Absolutely.
mega stressed. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I mean, I'm a pretty relaxed guy.
Awesome.
I probably work 18 to 24, 25 hours a week in my real
Awesome.
estate business.
Awesome.
And last year I did 29.2 million in sales.
Awesome.
Worked with 23 clients, and
Super.
that's a little abnormal. That's definitely way above my average, you know, home in the area. But it's just who I'm focusing on, right? And so yeah, if you haven't signed up, sign up. Okay, so to answer that question, Jesse, yeah, lenders, I love them because when you get a lender that gets it, your life is easier. And so if I got dropped into your area and I don't know anybody, I would interact with some lenders, and this is the first dialogue I'd have. I'd have, hey, so Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I'm looking for a lender that I can send all my business to, and in return, all I'm looking for is $500,000 of introductions from you, the lender, a month. Is that something you can do?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I need more than a maybe. So Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I'm looking to send all my business to you. And when I say all, it's like, you know, sometimes I might have to write it down. I'm a doodler, if you can't tell. You know, I'm going to send all my business to you, right? And all that I'm looking back is $500,000 of leads a month from you. Is that something you can do?
Yeah, I mean, but we have, you know, a lot of larger real estate teams that we get business from in the area that, you know, we kind of refer any call-ins out to. I don't really feel comfortable, you know, if you're sending me a few deals a month, you know, jeopardizing those relationships.
Gotcha. And again, I'm going to send you all, and all I'm looking for is 500. So you might get $9 million of incoming leads a month. I'm only looking for that.
Okay.
You know, you might get 3 million of incoming leads a month. All I'm looking for is that. So I'm not asking you to jeopardize anything.
Okay.
And then they might say, well, I don't have anything. And then I'd go, cool. So what I'm going to do, let's go to your copy machine, and I'm going to make a copy of page 49, 50, and 51. Right?
Yep.
And I'm going to go, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, do you call 7 people a day? And, you know, right? Do what we just did.
Yep.
And the lender's going to probably be like, I call people all day long. And I go, cool, but do you follow this formula? And they're going to go, no. And then I go, cool. If you could make an additional $300,000 of income, so keep doing whatever it is you do, but carve out 50 minutes a day. And by making these 7 phone calls over 50 minutes and doing it Monday through Friday, you're going to make an extra $300,000 of income. Or I guess not 300. We did the math and it was like 280. You know, heaven forbid.
Okay.
So $280,000 of additional income. Would you do it, Mr. Lender? And
yeah, probably.
Yeah, but it's weird. 9 out of 10 lenders are going to say no.
Okay.
But if you do have the lender that goes, yeah, I'd do it, then I'd be cool. Let's do it.
So it would seem like getting 2 or 3 of the top loan officers at one of those places would probably be the way to go. And finding somebody who's hungry enough to put some effort in on their end and then send some business my way also.
100%, 100%. I mean, it's not complicated, right? And again, I tell the lender, like, you know what the cost is to you? 0. It's 50 minutes a day. But you gotta follow this dialogue, like, exactly, right?
Yep.
And then what I'll do is I'll role play it
Thank you
with
very
you.
much.
I'll
Appreciate
be like, hey, let me role play it with you. And then I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna
doing
make
something in the meantime.
I'll have it
Thanks,
done
Miss
by
Wright.
3 o'clock. When are you gonna have your 7 calls done by? And they're gonna say, I don't know, pick a time.
Yeah.
So
2
they're going to
o'clock.
say,
Yeah.
2 o'clock? Okay, cool. So I'll call you at 3:30 when I'm done and you're done, and we'll see how we did.
Okay.
And then that lender is going to either at 3:30 go, A, I didn't do it, B, I did it, but it didn't work, or C, I did it and it did work. And so if it's A, I didn't do it, then I got to have a heart-to-heart talk, and I go, seriously, Fred, like, you're killing me, man. Why didn't you make these calls? Well, because I was busy running like a chicken with my head cut off. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm telling you, this stuff's going to help you make an additional $300,000 of income. You know, you probably don't even make $300,000 of total income. Like, why are you dinking around with all these tinker toys? You know what I mean? It's like, let's get real. And so that means I might need to go find another lender a block away.
Sure.
And introduce myself. Does that make sense? So there's a gentleman I worked with, and he went to 38 lenders. The 38th one, he got it. The guy called seven. The guy called 7 people. The guy called 7 people, and he got 3 introductions.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And Dan, the realtor I work with, is like, oh my gosh, I finally found the lender that's willing to do it. And I'm like, yeah, there wasn't. I mean, when you think about it, you had to talk to 38 of them, right?
Sure.
That's okay. But now that you got a guy that's willing to like make 50 minutes of phone calls a day to people that already know him, like him, trust him, and he, you know, the average is 1. This guy got 3. And I guarantee you he's probably not following the language exactly. So,
Sure.
I mean, oh my gosh, if you could get 3 introductions a day from your lender, where your lender calls you up and goes, hey, Patrick, hey, Jonathan, hey, Wendy, hey, Jesse, write these numbers down. I got 3 people for you. That's like called easy. And I like easy. I love easy. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Or the lender goes, we went over, didn't make it, or hey, I did, but it didn't work. So then I might say, hey, so let me role play with you. Pretend I'm one of your acquaintances, and then you call, and the call's going to be horrific, right? And it's going to be skipping all the steps, and instead of 3 and 1 and 1, it's like 30 seconds, 5 minutes, and then I'll have to be like, okay, so I really want to help you out, right? And I know this thing works, so can I give you some advice? And they'll be like, yeah. You're complicating it. It's typed up, so all you got to do is read it, right? Seriously, as long as you got a 2nd grade reading level, all you've got to do is read. Like you're thinking too much, you're adding too much into it. Just pretend it's like the best recipe for spaghetti ever, and all you got to do is follow the recipe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like college, just like high school, right? I mean, it's like, to get an A in a class in high school, all you got to do is kind of pay attention and regurgitate back what the teacher said.
Yep.
Yep. So awesome! Yay, that's pretty.
Sounds good.
That's one of the 12 ways to get some really, really good leads. Well, I guess 2. The lenders is 1. Top 150 is 1. Create a brochure, which is like leaps and bounds above. Is it going to cost money? Yes.
Of course.
But what it does, it causes me not to be a salesperson, and I don't have to follow up with sellers and hound them because they know it's like, all right, if we use Jonathan, we get this. If we use somebody else, we get, one-page brochure.
Okay.
And, mine's just better. And it's so funny. I've been using this 12-page brochure for it seems like forever, and realtors all around me still use a 1 or a 2-page brochure. And in my brain, I'm like, man, somebody's got to copy this eventually, don't they? Because I'm waiting for somebody to copy it, so then I can come out with a 24-page brochure.
Nice.
And on my 24-page brochure, it'll just be a ton of photos like this. It'll be a whole bunch of the centerfold photos.
Sure.
So, all right, rock stars. I'm glad you're coming, Jesse. Tell me, real quick, what caused you to sign up for the 3-day event?
So I did some coaching with another realtor, and it was good. It motivated me to start doing more, and so to cut to the chase, so I ended up with quite a few leads. A lot of the verbiage and ideas to convert those leads sounded a little too overly salesy and weren't my personality. And it was like, great, work 12 hours a day, schedule in your kids and your significant other for an hour and a half in the evening, and then go back to work and get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do it all over. And I'm burned out. I have a ton of leads. I can't get back to everybody. A lot of them are lower purchase leads. So I closed like 6 deals last month, and all the checks were like 4,000 or under. And I'm like, I can't continue to do this. So I need to get back to, closing bigger deals, a few a month where you can have good relationships with people. You're not traveling an hour away to go show houses. You're not, burning yourself out, basically. So this seemed like a kind of, I don't want to say get back to basics, but kind of common sense way to get higher end clients.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I tell people it's like real estate 101, 201, and 301. And
there's always something to do wherever you are.
As
long as you have a phone.
Right? That's step one. And so for me, I just gave away an $850,000 lead to another realtor in my area.
Yep.
I didn't even want a referral fee. I'm just like, hey, just take it, run with it.
Sure.
I mean, it's a lot. I want to work with as few people as possible, and I want as few leads as possible, right? So it's like there's some people that are like, I was working with someone, they get like 5 leads a day. I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrific. And she was like, horrific? That's great. I'm like, well, I don't know. You've been reading too many real estate traditional books, right? Like more is better. And it's like, I don't know, not for me. I mean, I don't, unless you want to hire some realtors and give them the leads and this and that. And I've been there, done that, right? I had 60 realtors working with me in Minnesota, 7 admin people, but I wasn't happy. I was just dealing with different type of chaos, And I'm like, okay, I want to do this a different way, where I personally can make about $700,000 to $900,000 of income, and do it without an assistant. And so I did that last year, so $29.2 million without an assistant. And guys wanted to prove it to myself that I could. And now I have somebody that does help me out, maybe let's say 3 hours a week, 4 hours a week. But when you're only working with 23 clients, you get a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard for me to send the email photos to the designer and say, hey, design it. It's giving clients a VIP experience, which is what those medium to high-end clients want anyway. Does that make sense? It's like, I've never been to St. George, but I think it's kind of schwanky, right? The lake?
Yeah, Lake George, yeah.
Or Lake George, yeah.
Yep.
So Lake George is kind of swanky, and people could probably be like, I'll go to a different lake, and the hotels on Lake George would be like, that's fine. You don't have to pay $300 a night to stay here, but if you want this experience, it's $300 a night. And I bet if I went on Google today to get a hotel room on Lake George, it'd be full.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's tons of people that want a VIP experience, and it's like, cool, give it to them. It just means, though, that you got to probably turn away other people that don't want that,
Yeah.
and that's okay. And so it's one of the main reasons I can interact with a buyer lead, and within 3 to 10 days they're purchasing something, because it's the first inkle I get. I have a conversation with them, and within 24 hours we're meeting in person. And
Yep.
if you don't want to meet with me within 24 hours in person, I just crinkle it and go like that. And they go, well, can you follow up with me in a week? And I go, no.
Nice.
What do you mean you can't follow up with me? I'm like, well, what's there to follow up on? I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if I can help you out or not, but we got to meet and see if that is possible. And if it is possible, yeah, I'll knock your socks off, and bottom line, I'll do a great job for you. And if I can't help you out, I'll let you know that too. But the biggest thing is we got to meet to see if we're even a good fit working together.
Okay.
And we don't have to meet tomorrow, but let's meet the next day, or the next day, or the next day. You know, and I might reiterate.
She mentioned she had to clean her locker,
in a
so maybe
kind
she's
way,
gonna stop
you
there.
know, you guys are the ones wanting to move,
Thank
right?
you.
You're like, yep.
Thanks
And I'm
for
like,
remembering.
how long have you been thinking about it? Well,
Everybody wants a piece
5
of it
weeks.
today, right?
Okay. Let's stop the
But you're
madness,
almost done. You're almost
and
done.
let's decide if you're either gonna move or if you're gonna stay put. Because either way is okay, right?
Yep.
But the key is just decide what you want. And that's really what I help people do, is decide, which is why I think I just got a lot of free time, and I got clients that are cool people, because they're like decision makers, right? It's like, and I'm not having to sell them. It's as easy as like taking somebody's order at McDonald's. I've never worked at McDonald's, but
Sure.
I can imagine it's a complicated thing. And so anyway, yeah, I'd rather be firm with people the first 10 minutes of that phone call and have an awesome relationship
Sure.
than just chasing people for weeks and months.
Yep.
All right, rock stars. Well, hey, have a great day. I trust this was helpful.
Yeah, very helpful.
Cool. All right. Hey, guys.
Jonathan, I'm going to text you a quick question in a minute.
Yeah, please do. Awesome.
Or do you want me to ask it now?
Sure, fire away.
Okay. So I have a house that we redid. It's been on the market about 2.5 months. It's a little higher end for around here. It was listed at $599, and I just dropped it to $569. I'm not getting the showings that I want. I'm getting passed by, and it's not getting the activity that it should. And it's a little outside of what I usually market. Usually my marketing, you know, I can hit Facebook and Craigslist and the MLS and Realtor.com, Zillow, whatever. I'm just having a hard time getting people in there. I think the brochures would help. But any other marketing ideas for a higher end place?
Yeah, I would definitely do the brochure. The brochure is really an amazing thing.
Okay.
And it's, it just this doesn't it just, I don't know, how do I phrase it? It just sets it up differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you go to a car dealership, they could just give you a one-page, hey, here's the Honda, or they typically have like a 42-page brochure of the Honda, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look and see if I can have one, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Wow, it's a mini book. And It's the same with houses. Yeah, so it's that perception.
You can?
And I guess what I might even try doing is I might try increasing the payout.
Okay.
No.
Right. So if the payout is 2% or 2.5% to the other realtor,
Yep.
I'd do 3%.
Okay.
And I'd put in there like a little asterisk, like, hey, the 3% commission is good with any accepted offer
Shut up, bro. Jeez.
between now and June, 20th or whatever the date might be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, is that helpful?
Yep. Yep.
You know what I might do too is so that house is really expensive compared to others.
It's it's not for. There's houses around it that have sold for twice as much. It's that people right around there kind of want to be in a neighborhood, and this is just outside of the neighborhood.
Gotcha.
We're going to do new landscaping also. It's kind of like it's on this big 2-acre lot in the woods, and so it's got kind of a natural setting, and we thought people would like that, but I think it needs like a landscaping package kind of up front and around the first perception is it might still be unfinished because it doesn't have landscaping. Or a good landscaping package. So, I mean, inside it's an awesome house, but I think that's the main other thing. So we're going to spend some money on that this week.
Okay. Yeah. So I would even either A, have it done, and even while it's being done, put it on MLS like, hey, $6,000 landscaping package to be completed by XYZ date.
Okay.
And potentially on the brochure, I would put, instead of like must see, I'd have some big burst and something like, $6,000 worth of landscaping to be done prior to closing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you really have to give people the vision of what it's going to be. Otherwise, people can just kind of cross it off the list really quick.
Yeah.
Are you okay? So when I list a house, the first photo on MLS is never the front of the house. Never, 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 never. It's always a picture of the backyard, like this.
Okay.
Or some interior photos.
Yeah.
So I would do that too. It's really common for realtors to just I'm trying to think if I even have a picture of the front. I guess this is the front of the house.
Sure.
But most realtors lead with that. Well, I don't. I always lead with an interior or an exterior photo, depending which is better. And then, I generally get about 2.5 times more views online than when I do it where it's that.
Yep.
Now, I haven't done a front of a house for probably 7 years, 8 years, because once I did that test, I was like, I'm never going back.
Sure.
But yeah, do especially in a house like that might be challenged landscaping-wise. Do a picture of the kitchen or something like that.
Yeah, I do have some interior pictures that lead, and the interior pictures are awesome. I'll send you a copy of the listing. It's a really great property. It's almost like, this may sound bizarre, but I kind of feel like I sold the house across the street to somebody from downstate New York area for $1.3 million 2 years ago, and it was owned by one of the people of the Pillsbury family. And then another house across the street went on the market for $1 million. It didn't sell, and we're at $569. I almost feel like the price is too low. Like the people that are comparing my house are like the people who want to be in the 450 to like 600 range in a development. And I almost feel like this house should have been like $699 or something, because the people that are looking in that range are the people that like want a secluded house near Saratoga Racetrack and near the lake. And like it just seems, I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
Well, do you have range pricing where you're at or no?
Not really, no.
So, is this okay? So I would try it. So I mean, if I'm the realtor, as you are listing the house, I would connect with the seller and just be like, hey, I don't know if it's going to work or not.
It's actually a house I own.
It's house you own. Okay, so you talk to yourself.
I do. I try to.
Yeah, and I would. What are we at now? What's today? June 5th, 6th, 7th?
Yeah.
7th.
Yep.
7th. Okay, so June 7th, and I would go at 750, and I would try it for a week to 10 days. As
Okay.
long as you could stomach it.
Yep.
But if it's like, hey, I gotta move this thing, then I wouldn't do it. But if for 7-10 days, try it at 750.
Yep.
And you might have some realtors or buyers go like, hey, this was just at, whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, it was at that price, but now it's 100% finished.
Yep.
Now, since it's 100% finished, it is now 750.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. I thought about advertising it like downstate and out of some of these markets, my local market, at a higher amount, and seeing if I got calls on it and kind of doing like a little test marketing with some of the pictures. And around here, we're located right around the Saratoga racetrack, which is a pretty famous track. And the middle of July, all the horse people come here. So all the billionaires that have horses in the world come to Saratoga for 6 weeks.
Nice.
So there's this like influx of a huge amount of, wealthy people into the area.
I would try it at 750. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's me. I mean, it's one of those things you never know until you try it.
Yep.
But if you're concerned that, hey, it might be too low, then I would go up a bunch.
Okay. I just feel like I'm getting the wrong type of buyer. Like my clients who were looking for like, 800, 900 and up before didn't care about seeing anything that was in the 5s. And, the people that are looking in the 4s and the 5s, they want a cookie cutter colonial in a neighborhood, maybe with a pool that they can show off to their friends and their kids can walk to their friends' houses and stuff. And that's like what they want. And so it's a different buyer.
Right. I mean, I've not seen the house, but I'm guessing, right, it's a buyer where the kids are older, or the kids are driving to school, or something like that.
Yeah, or it's a summer house. It's 5 minutes to the racetrack. It's a summer house in Saratoga.
Right.
And the people from downstate New Jersey and New York, they're coming up saying, hey, pull everything from 700 up, 600 and up, 800 and up. I'm not even on the radar.
Exactly. Oh, I know the feeling, 100%, because correct. A buyer searching online, after a while, they're just like, anything 500 and under, like, why even waste my time?
Yeah.
Or whatever the price point is that
Sure.
searching for.
Yep.
It could be, I don't want to look at something 80,000 and under. So,
yeah.
I would do that, Jesse, and then let me know.
Okay.
Call me or text me and let me know how it
Cool.
went. I bet you'd get something.
It's worth a try.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great day. If you have not signed up for the June 23rd, 24th, 25th event, I think it's closing up. My tech guy's closing it up tomorrow, I think. So
I would think you'd be full by now, or pretty close.
Yeah, we got about 27 folks. So yeah, there are basically 3 spots left. So that's nice.
I mean, you can tell people that I'm coming from New York across the country, and I had to reschedule my daughter's graduation dinner from high school. You want to tell anybody that? Feel free.
Yeah, that's pretty committed. I will. I'll have my tech guy send an email out with that, because.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's. I have someone from Chicago coming too. She's a younger mom, and she's bringing her little one to.
Holy.
She's bringing a nanny. Oh
Whoa.
my gosh.
That's
yeah,
crazy. Cool.
Yep. Well, what's cool is this. I love helping realtors out, and the stuff that I do, well, the stuff that I do because I did it all wrong earlier
Mm-hmm.
in my career, and I was like, there's just got to be a better way. And I spent about $90,000 between my second and third year on coaching. But I didn't hire real estate coaches. I hired just business coaches, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of a different mentality.
Sure.
Because a realtor coach is kind of like just work more, call expireds. And I was like, I'd rather be a garbage collector than call expireds. And so, and I don't want to work more. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I hired like business coaches, and they're like, and this is now what I teach realtors. So it's just like totally transformational, and
Sure.
it's just a lot more fun. It's like, hey, I enjoy my business instead of my business controlling me. I control the business. So awesome. All right.
I agree. I agree. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, have a great afternoon. See
Cool.
ya.
Thanks, you too. Take it easy, John.
Bye.
Bye.